At first, everyone thought it was just an incident. But when feral hogs kept showing up in residential gardens night after night, it became clear. This wasn't random. They followed the same paths, returned to the same torn-up ground, classic signs of habit-driven behavior. And once wildlife has learned its way into a neighborhood, the question is no longer whether it will return, but how that habit can be controlled. When hogs move as a sounder, people are forced to respond as a group. Neighbors began comparing notes, and the pattern quickly came into focus. Tracks, rooting damage, and travel routes lined up almost perfectly. This wasn't multiple groups. It was one sounder systematically working the same area. Common deterrents reached their limits fast. Noise didn't change behavior. Fences slowed the hogs down, but didn't stop them from coming back. At that point, the issue was beyond any single household. It had become a shared problem for the entire community. Instead of reacting in isolation, residents sat down together. Landowners, neighbors, and farmers shared observations, field experience, and agreed on a unified approach. The goal was clear: control the entire sounder, not individual animals. A large corral trap was planned based on the hogs' established travel routes. The enclosure was wide enough to avoid triggering panic, yet fully within control. The frame was reinforced to handle the shock response when the gates dropped. There was no rushing, no forcing. The farmers allowed the sounder's own routine to guide it into a space that had already been prepared. The trap system wasn't fully automated. Instead, the gates were activated remotely via smartphone, paired with live camera monitoring. This allowed residents to observe from a distance and retain full control over when to intervene. They waited. They watched every movement. Only when the entire sounder was inside the control zone did a single action take place. All gates dropped at once. The sounder was contained completely. No animals left outside to cause further disruption. Here, technology didn't replace people. It allowed people to act more precisely, at the right moment, and with greater responsibility.
Hey, good boy.
At first light, residents moved in to check the site. The system performed exactly as designed. No failed gates, no escapes. More importantly, the neighborhood returned to stability after weeks of repeated disturbance. For farming families, that stability means more than peace of mind. It means protecting land, crops, and livelihoods passed down through generations. This story isn't about eliminating wildlife. It's about how people adapt when their environment changes. When a challenge exceeds individual capacity, cooperation, understanding, and patience at the community level create sustainable solutions. In many cases, protecting what you have doesn't come from rushed reactions, but from responsible management, measured control, and a community willing to stand together.
Let's go, big girl. Let's go. She's mean. You ornery. You. you looking on video. Come fresh with a fresh.
Got him. There's water. Drop it on.
Whole size. Yep. I wish you'd stop doing that. You didn't bit.
Not every appearance of wild boar is a problem, but when fresh tracks overlap old ones, when the same routes repeat night after night, that's when territory is being taken, quietly, without a single confrontation. For the people living here, danger doesn't arrive overnight. It builds step by step, until the distance between wildlife and daily life is gone. So the solution chosen isn't confrontation, it's the creation of a control system designed to reduce conflict and protect human living space. Let's take a closer look at how that system works. The Boar Buster system is installed after days of field scouting. Placement, approach angles, and timing are all calculated based on the herd's movement habits. As night falls, infrared cameras pick up the first movements from the forest edge. The boars don't rush the bait. They stop, watch, test the ground, study the frame. This is typical behavior of animals shaped by constant survival pressure. The system activates exactly as planned, but the drop happens just a fraction of a second too late. That tiny delay is enough. The most alert individuals sense the danger. Within seconds, the entire herd pulls back cleanly, leaving nothing behind but an empty trap. This isn't a failure of equipment, it's a mismatch between mechanical timing and the razor-fast instincts of wild animals. By daylight, the system is fully inspected. No mechanical damage, no warped frame, no trigger malfunction. The problem lies in deployment. The hanging height isn't optimal, the sensor angle is slightly off, and most critically, the response delay is slower than a wild boar's natural reflex. Wild boar live in a world where survival is measured in seconds. They are smart, adaptive, and they never fall for the same mistake twice. Once danger is recognized, the behavior of the entire herd changes immediately. If the same setup is kept, the risk isn't repeated failure, it's escalation as the herd becomes more cautious and harder to manage. Sometimes, the smartest move is to stop before things get worse. Instead of pushing forward, all activity is paused. This isn't hesitation, it's restraint, meant to avoid further imprinting stress or warning signals onto the herd. The system is rebuilt from scratch and tested through continuous demo runs. Every detail is measured: drop speed, approach angles, natural movement lines. The goal isn't the fastest reaction, it's the right one. Consistent, predictable, reducing stress on both the animals and the surrounding environment. Once all parameters reach optimal levels, the system is redeployed at known entry points into farmland. That night, the herd appears exactly along its usual route. This time, the control process completes cleanly. The trigger responds fast and accurately. No panic, no uncontrolled collisions, no spillover risk. More importantly than what happens that night is what happens afterward. The herd's familiar movement route is cut off, and just like that, peace is restored, allowing local farmers to return safely to their fields.
Let's get him.
If the first intervention had gone perfectly, the most important lesson might have been missed. Wildlife control isn't for rushing, and it certainly isn't about blind faith in equipment. It demands observation, analysis, and constant adjustment. That moment of failure is what ultimately saved the entire harvest. Not through luck, but through clear judgment and responsibility in knowing when to act and when to stop.
Go on in. 1, 2, 3.
If this herd makes it through tonight, it won't just be the crops that are destroyed. An entire year of hard work could be wiped out in a single night. This reality has repeated itself across many rural areas of the United States, where dozens of hectares of farmland can be completely devastated before sunrise. With wild boars, everything happens faster than human response time, and once they've chosen a target, the window to react is almost non-existent. Statistics from several southern U.S. states show that a single herd of 15 to 20 wild boars can destroy more than 1 hectare of crops in just a few nighttime hours. They don't move randomly. Wild boars have strong memory, learn quickly, and are extremely sensitive to unusual changes in their environment. More importantly, after just 1 or 2 encounters with traps, they can completely alter their routes and activity times. Tonight, fresh tracks appeared along the edge of the field, slightly offset from the familiar trail. That's a clear sign the herd is testing a new approach. Miss this moment, and the chances of effective intervention drop sharply. In wild boar control, losing one night can mean losing an entire season. There are no advanced machines here, no remote control systems, just familiar farm materials, used through years of experience dealing with wild boars. Every trap position is chosen based on the boar's natural movement behavior, guiding their path instead of confronting them head-on. Bait is used sparingly, not too much, nothing unfamiliar. Wild boars are extremely alert to sudden changes. A scent that's too strong or too foreign can cause the entire herd to retreat instantly. The goal isn't to lure them in, it's to let them continue along their usual route, straight into a controlled zone. Rapid deployment doesn't mean rushing, it means shortening the process through experience.
Out! It's charging at the dang fence. That scares me every time.
Don't get back there.
Before the herd is expected to appear, all adjustments must stop. At this stage, any last-minute change can collapse the entire plan. There's no room for testing, no time for correction. What's been built must be trusted completely. In moments like this, experience and composure matter more than any piece of equipment. At this point, success or failure no longer depends on the trap itself, but on the discipline to stand still and do nothing more. The sounds come earlier than expected. This is when wild boars usually probe before moving deeper. If they sense anything unusual at this stage, they'll retreat immediately and change plans. Hundreds of failed attempts have started at this exact moment. But this time, the herd continues along the guided route. They pass through controlled points without triggering alarm. Within a short window, the situation unfolds exactly as planned.
So many hogs in the trap, it's not even funny.
Wild boars reproduce at an extreme rate. A single sow can produce 2 litters a year, with 4 to 6 piglets each time. Without continuous control, today's success can become meaningless within months. What was achieved tonight isn't just the protection of crops. It's time bought for the entire community. In wild boar control, effectiveness doesn't come from complex equipment. It comes from timely decisions, rooted in understanding, experience, and long-term responsibility to the land. The most frightening thing isn't that feral hogs show up, it's that they show up when there's no time left to fix the damage. When crops are fully mature, just a few nights can erase months of hard work. The real challenge is time, and it's closing fast. During harvest season, every delayed decision comes at the cost of an entire field. Many solutions that once worked are now showing their limits. Traditional traps can be deployed quickly, but they struggle to control an entire sounder. Feral hogs are smart enough to notice changes in their environment. It only takes a few animals standing back and watching for the whole group to hesitate, change direction, or pull away entirely. The issue isn't a lack of effort. It's that the old approach no longer matches today's reality. Under morning pressure, many areas have changed how they operate. Instead of dealing with hogs one by one, the focus shifts to controlling space from the start. Enclosures are set up along field edges, known travel routes, and around automatic feeders. The goal isn't to react when hogs appear. It's to limit every possible entry and exit before damage ever begins. This approach isn't about catching individual animals. It's about managing the entire sounder within the same window of time.
Nice.
When the sounder moves into a pre-established control zone, everything happens fast. The surrounding space has already been restricted, leaving little room for the hogs to spread out like they normally would. A few alert individuals manage to stay outside and slip away, but the majority of the destructive pressure is removed from the farmland in one move. Order is restored at exactly the right moment. The clearest results come from field edges and transition zones. Here, open ground is narrow, leaving hogs with nowhere to fan out. This significantly reduces the chance of them returning in the days that follow, creating a safe window for harvest. At the same time, control zones built around automatic feeders act as a managed draw. The hogs approach familiar ground, unaware that every exit has already been accounted for. This allows the operation to stay stable, efficient, and low disruption. At this stage, timing matters more than tools. Once the sounder is under control, the priority isn't escalation, it's stability. Every step follows a tight, deliberate sequence, minimizing disturbance to avoid pushing pressure into neighboring areas. The site is cleared, vehicles are staged at the field edge, and transport is completed quickly. The farmland is separated from the risk of reinvasion, clean, controlled, and secure.
Yep. Come on now. Well, there's a... Yep. Come on now. Yep.
When the final gate is closed, the most important outcome isn't the count. It's that the field was protected when it mattered most. By staying one step ahead of feral hogs, not in strength, but in strategy, farmers protect their harvest and reduce risk for seasons to come.